All right, Ty.
But you know what? Before you get started, I got something to say, Neil. I know you want to talk about last week's game. This morning, a story came out in the Daily News from Gary Myers about how Tim Tebow may request a trade at the end of the season if he's not playing. I just want to say two things with that. First of all, it's Bush League reporting, because first they try to bash Sanchez, they try to give all this Tebow hype. Now Tebow's not playing, and now they say he may want to trade. How about this, Daily News? How about you do a better job at reporting on the field? Do you talk about Landry coming back from injury, Brian Thomas rehabbing? How about you focus on the team for once? Stop doing all this nonsense about off-the-field stuff. And the second thing is, this is why you don't want Tebow on your team, because if he doesn't start playing, it's going to be, I want to go somewhere else, all the other stuff. That's part of the problem as well. So I just had to get that. It just pissed me off to hear about it. You knew the story was going to come because he's not going to play a lot. So now it's like, oh, he may want to go somewhere else. The Daily News start reporting on the team about actual football, and the whole Tebow shenanigan, if he's smart, he should just get rid of the rumors, get rid of all stuff tomorrow, saying, you know what, I'm not going to talk about any kind of trade. I want to be a Jet for however long, and that's it.
Now, do you think that's coming from Tebow, or it's just?
I think it's the Daily News trying to create a story, and it's what they do. It's just all the papers all try to get a story, get their hits, generate all their whatever, all nonsense, and it's always Jets related because Giants don't get these kind of stories. But it's just nonsense. I knew it was coming, and it's just Bush League reporting in my eyes. So now get ahead. I'm done now.
All right. Well, that was interesting. All right. Well,
I'm pissed off.
Before we talk about the Steelers, talk about dropping 40 on the Bills.
48.
48.
Awesome, man. It's what the doctor ordered for the Jets. That's what you want. I mean, silence all the critics. You hear everybody bashing Sanchez. There's no more offense talk. I mean, it's all out there now. I mean, everybody's quiet and everybody's talking, win 3 in a row. It's exactly what they needed, but it means nothing if they don't follow up another performance this week.
I believe it was some kind of record.
Yeah, I think it was like the most points scored on opening day and all this other great things that Rex Ryan likes to point out. But again, it means absolutely nothing if he laid an egg this week in Pittsburgh.
Right. Well, getting into Pittsburgh, before the season started, everybody's like, will the Jets even score a touchdown? They dropped to 48. Are you afraid of a hangover going into next week's game? I am. I think the Jets, they rallied the troops because there was us against the world mentality, thinking, you know what, everybody hates us, we're clowns, we're a circus. So emotionally, it's a home game, they're all fired up, and now it's kind of like, it's almost like when they beat the Patriots in the playoffs. It was like that huge, like, oh, we did it, we showed everybody we can do it. So now you're going to Pittsburgh, their home opener, they haven't lost a home opener in nine years or something like that, ridiculous. It's not an easy place to play. They're a physical team. So if you come out flat, which the Jets did in the championship game, which we all remember, which was awful, you'll get your ass kicked. So I'm worried about emotionally they can recharge their batteries and get fired back up, because now they kind of almost feeling too good about themselves. So to me, it is a concern, not a huge concern, but it's definitely got to be out there. Well, let's talk about the offense a bit. Going into the game, number one concern, Mario Williams. Where is he lining up, right? I didn't even hear the kid's name called.
He didn't give up a sack.
That offensive line shut the $100 million man down.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is, Steelers overall are a better defense. Now, do you think the offensive line is going to hold up the same way, or are there more concerns?
I think, honestly, the biggest key to this game is you got to match the intensity and the physicality of the Steelers' defense. The offensive line has to man up and be just as physical with them as they are with you, because they're going to come after you, and they're bullies. I mean, they're physical, they're going to throw you around, and if you don't match their intensity, you're not going to run the ball, and Sanchez will get killed. So it's a huge concern. I mean, Mario Williams was shut down. He did an awesome job, but like you said, the Steelers, Dick LeBeau is a tremendous coordinator. So now it's a whole different, you got to raise your game another level. If not, you're not going to get anything out of it.
All right, well, as successful as the offense was, the highly touted Wildcat formation was not successful.
Dud.
Do you think it's going to do anything against the Steelers?
I'll say this, and everybody's going to say, here comes a Sanchez fan again. I can make an argument last week that they should never take Sanchez out. The kid was dealing, he was playing very well, had a very command of the offense, and they were effectively moving the ball. They get a first down, and here comes in Tebow at the Wildcat, and they maybe gain a yard. Or it's second down, Tebow comes in, and they maybe gain a yard, or maybe lose a yard, and now you're third and long. I think they need to do a better job of just bringing Tebow when if Sanchez is dealing and they're doing well, why the gimmick? I mean, I get it. I know the whole unknown, catch them off bounds and stuff like that. But last week I thought they used it too many times and it wasn't effective. This week, I mean, you're going to try it again. I mean, they're sold on it. They're going to have to try it. How effective it's going to be,
I mean, Pittsburgh's got a fast defense. I mean, you got Polamalu running around, and they've seen it before. It's not like their first rodeo with this. So,
right.
I mean, they faced Tebow in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's not like this is going to be anything new for them.
Well, what's interesting was the crowd was so behind Sanchez that game when Tebow came in.
They booed him.
They booed him.
I booed him. Because, you know what? Everybody expected Sanchez to struggle, or they weren't sure what to expect.
Right.
He was playing well. He was throwing just darts. And he had a very firm grasp of the offense. Tebow comes in, and you just knew, like, the Bills knew what was coming. And they stuffed it at the line of scrimmage. It was no secret, you know? So, I mean, they're going to keep trying it. I mean, it's good for, you know, to catch them off balance, but it's not effective when it puts you in 3rd and long, you know, or a 1st and 10 and a 2nd and 12. I mean, I get the goal line situations and stuff like that, or maybe short yardage for, like, to get the 2 or 3 yards, but 1st and 10, I'm not so sure about that.
All right, well, one of the biggest key offensive players last week, we know Hill had a tremendous game. You know, we don't know the offensive line held up, but Curley.
Yeah.
He had the punt return. He had the nice touchdown catch. I mean, the kid was all over the place. You have a legit third now.
Yes.
How big of a blow is it going to be if he doesn't play?
Supposedly he's going to try to play because he's got a back injury. I think that's what it was. If he doesn't play, it's a huge blow because his backup is going to be either the unproven Clyde Gates that they got from the Dolphins as a free agent move. Patrick Turner got cut, which is whatever with that. He'll probably be on the team next Tuesday.
Right.
And then you have Chaz Schillens. So Curley is familiar with Sanchez. He knows it seems like he knows the offense. If he's not there in the slot, it's going to definitely be a hindrance because now the Steelers, they have corners to match up with us. It's not like the Bills, but they have a rookie here. You know, they have Ike Taylor. They have guys back there that can light you up. So if Curley doesn't play, I mean, you're putting a Clyde Gates out there who got cut. So, I mean, by the Dolphins. The Dolphins aren't that good. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a huge blow if he doesn't play.
Talking about that secondary, obviously Clark didn't play because of the sickle cell thing in the Mile High. He's going to be returning this week for sure. The X Factor, James Harrison, who's just an absolute troublemaker, he may or may not return this week. Your thoughts on that? Do you have any info on that?
I got a little info. I mean, according to the Pittsburgh Gazette, or Pittsburgh News Gazette, where they're called, is Harrison said he's going to play. And I mean, he wants to play the home opener. I mean, he's pretty hell bent on it. That's what this week's paid for. It's a huge. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year. The guy causes havoc. And then Ryan Clark is a huge addition to the secondary. Him and Polamalu back there are awesome. I mean, they're a very, very good defense. They're both back. The Jets had to play their best game. They had to do very good ball control. I mean, Sanchez can't be careless with the ball. And then you got the pocket protection. I mean, James Harrison's a beast. I mean, Mario Williams is a great player, but these guys are speed rushers like Lamar Woodley, or Tyrone Woodley, I think his name is.
Yep.
Lamar Woodley?
Lamar.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, these guys bring it, and they're relentless. So while Mario Williams is complaining about face mask calls, all the nonsense he's doing, these guys will come after you, and they don't care.
Yeah, well, let's switch to the Jet defense now. Cremorte had that heck of a pick. I mean, I'm not sure he's going to ever experience some easier touchdown for the rest of his career. I mean, the dude put it in his hands.
He scoped it out.
It was it was his talent, but it was outstanding.
Their 3 corners all got a pick last week.
Absolute backbreaker. Speaking of corners, is Revis playing this week?
That's a good question. I mean, as of today, the Jets said they're going to announce on Saturday if Revis is going to play because they're not going to put him on a plane if he still has symptoms. That's huge. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's a huge, huge issue because the Steelers, when they're most effective, go 3 wide. They have 3 very good receivers that can put a lot of pressure on you. If you take Revis off the field, Kyle Wilson takes his spot. Well, Kyle Wilson played well last week, but he's not your primary guy. So teams are going to go right after him. If you don't go after him, who's your third corner? Is it going to be Ellis Langster? I mean, who's the guy? Is it going to be a rookie? Who's the guy taking that nickel spot? You're dying. It shuffles your whole secondary, which is a huge concern. So if Revis doesn't play, I mean, you're going to have a lot of pressure on Kyle Wilson. A lot.
Well, what concerns me is we know the speedster that takes the top off that defense.
Mike Wallace.
I think Mike Brown is the best player on the offense. Maybe I mean, as
Antonio
far as
Brown?
receivers, I'm sorry, Antonio Brown is the best receiver on that team. I mean, obviously last year he did a lot of punt return, kick return, but he seems to be the primary target now. Even in a lot of the red zone opportunities, they were targeting him last week.
Well, you have that. They go 3 wide a lot. Then you got Heath Miller, who is like an old school tight end,
right,
but he catches the ball and catches touchdowns. So then you have the Jets, which they have a very good secondary, that you're going to spread them out now. So now especially if Revis doesn't play, they're screwed. But if you have Revis, Cromartie, Wilson, then they're all spread out. Your safeties are going to be spread out. Then you have Heath Miller. Who's going to cover him? Is it going to be Landry?
Is it going to be Bart Scott? Like, who's going to... They have a lot of decisions to make, and if Revis doesn't play, it's going to be a huge blow to them.
Well, that's the line I love.
And then you have Kotry, too, who we all love, and love the guy, but another guy, he's dangerous, though. It's another... They go forward. I mean, they have a lot of things they can do that the Jets are probably one of the only teams that can actually match up with them when they go 3 wide with Revis in the game. But, man, it's just... They got some weapons. And the whole thing is, the running game is struggling because their offensive line isn't doing that well. So once they can't run the ball, they're going to come out and pass it. I mean, that's what they're going to do.
Well, one of the big matchups I'm looking forward to throughout the game is Landry-Miller. I mean, oh my goodness.
Landry's a beast.
Let's talk about Landry for 1 second. My goodness, you finally have an enforcer.
He just, the hit he had on Fred Jackson, he just lays out, he sells out on every tackle.
Heart with that hit.
He sells out on every tackle and lights somebody up, and he's relentless. And now you know why he gets hurt when he plays, because he doesn't quit at anything.
You gotta love the kid for it.
And let's be honest, Jeremiah Bell is he is another big time hitter. This is probably the best safety duo the Jets have had. I mean, this is going back. I mean, Victor Green and so, I mean, I don't even tell you that they're strong, they're smart, and they just lay the lumber out there.
Oh my goodness. Watching Landry come up and close, I'm just curious to see if he almost lets tight ends catch the ball.
Just to light him up. He just tears it up.
Just to teach him a lesson.
It's interesting, man. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Because he outweighs more tight ends. You know, those flex tight ends now, he seems to outweigh a bunch of them.
He definitely does.
All right, so what are the keys to stopping Big Ben and that Steeler offense?
Well, like I said before, the offensive line is struggling. So that means you good chance you stop the run, and then you can get to the quarterback. But as we know by now, Big Ben doesn't go down easy. You've got to wrap up. If you got to get hits on him. I mean, beat him up. I mean, he takes a beating. He takes a lot of hits, but finish him, knock him down. He's going to scramble the pocket. I mean, when they beat the Jets in the playoffs, it was his mobility out of the pocket. He's a big boy, but he moves around. He can get out there. So when you get to him, you got to bring him down. Take advantage of the offensive line. I mean, they're banged up. They're not playing that well. A lot of pressure. Dominate the line of scrimmage. And then I guess my other key is going to be Kyle Wilson. I mean, I keep dwelling on that, but it's true, especially if he doesn't play. Kyle Wilson is a lot of pressure, man. These Pittsburgh receivers are no joke, man. They're very, very talented. So you got to be solid in coverage and no yards after the catch. Mike Wallace beats you, get him down. Do not let him explode.
Oh my goodness.
That's the whole goal.
On that flat pattern, he is scary.
But just don't let him yards after the catch because they're all like with the quick slants, things like that. Tackle, and just stop where you can.
The thing I think you nailed it when you said finish. The thing about Ben is I think the defense somehow relaxes when they see a couple linemen on his legs. That's when he's most dangerous. He's very elusive for his eyes. It's Talk about
crazy.
extending plays.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you got to get hits on him. You got to take him down. You got to just.
It's like the corners have to have that 4-second discipline. It's not going to be 2 or 3 second sacks. No. It's good. Once he's in the grass. Literally last week I saw him in the grass, which most refs might blow that dead. He threw it right to Antonio Brown.
Especially replace the refs.
Yeah, so I mean.
Don't get me started on that.
No, yeah, we won't go there. They did a good job last week. Let's give them credit.
The Jet game they did. The other games they were terrible.
Yeah. All right, predictions.
Man, this is a tough one because it's a Steelers home opener. They don't want to go 0-2. They haven't lost the home opener in whatever it was 9 years. The Jets with a chance of a possible emotional letdown. This is a tough one. But for some reason, I'm going to be a homer on this one. I'm going to take the Jets. I think that their defense is going to win this game. It's going to be a low, ugly, knock them out. I mean, last week I said it was going to be a low-scoring game. The Jets dropped 48 on them. But different team. It's going to be a very physical game. I think there's some bad blood because the Jets lost in the championship game. The Steelers mouth off a lot. And the Steeler fans are all, they're Steeler fans. They're towels.
Yeah, towel.
I'm going to say 2017 Jets. But it's going to be a very close game in the fourth quarter. We'll be biting our nails. But I think they're going to pull this one out. It's going to be tough, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm predicting 2 touchdowns, the field goal by the Jets. 1 touchdown, 3 field goals, Steelers.
Really?
17-16.
It's going to be close. It's going to be one of these games Jet fans are going to be. They're going to be all biting their nails, complain about. My biggest fear is a game like this, to be completely honest with you, is the officiating. Because it's going to be so physical. You're going to have probably late hits. You're going to have holding. You're going to have all kinds of, fighting for the ball with the receivers and the defensive backs. So you just got to hope that it's somewhat fair. But I think the Jets pull this one out. I mean, I just have a funny feeling, especially the offensive line struggling. So we'll see. Right. Hopefully it happens.
Now a little bit of fun. Let's help the fantasy football fans out there that are curious about specific Jets.
Well, Stephen Hill's probably the most picked up receiver in the country right now.
Yeah,
everybody put it for him.
We have picked up 6 o'clock the following morning.
Yeah, everybody was Stephen Hill was the first guy gone. And you know, and the one thing is, hats off to him because he was sick last week when he was playing. He had a terrible drop early in the game, and I was like, oh no, his first game as a pro, he's going to butcher this one. And he bounced back strong in an excellent game. You got to give him a lot of credit, especially being sick for his first pro game. So.
Well, in my league, we have pass per PPR, and we have return yards.
So you went early though.
So I was up 8 o'clock in the morning, like hoping nobody got early yet.
Yeah.
And I was able to get him, and I was really excited. So
yeah,
that's my sleeper.
You got to figure if you look for more fantasy guys. I mean, I wouldn't.
What do you think about Sean Green this week?
Oh, it's tough defense. I mean, if you look down the
line,
line,
a nice game, not a great game, but a nice game.
He compiled it. Early on, he wasn't doing much, but he got it towards the end. Not really sure about Sean Green or Sanchez. I mean, Dustin Keller is still kind of iffy.
I know a bunch of people.
I tell you who I would stay clear is Santonio Holmes. I wouldn't bother. I mean, if he's on your team, you could have him, but I wouldn't play him. That's just me, though.
So, let's go through it. Sit him starting. Holmes.
Sit.
Hill.
I don't know how many receivers you have. I'd say you'd probably play him, I guess, at this point.
A third receiver?
Yes.
Okay. Third receiver starting. Sanchez.
Oh, if you drafted him as your starting quarterback, not a good fancy guy anyway.
Right. But I know a bunch of people picked him up this week.
As a backup? Why not? Okay. But you can't start him on a daily basis. Any 10 or 12 team league, you're not making.
No, my league's a little complex. We do individual defensive players, so I'm not going to go through all that. Jets defense. Sit him starting.
Oh, you have to start him. Especially this offensive line.
3 picks.
I had him last week. I did awesome. But I mean, this defense is brilliant. And Rex Ryan talked a lot of trash about this could be his best defense he's had with the Jets. He's not lying. That secondary, so many replays.
He's talking about 3 picks, a punt return.
Yeah, pick 6.
And pick 6.
But I mean, this defense, they're going to get to the quarterback and they're going to make plays. That secondary is ridiculous.
All right, so you're here, folks.
Don't bet on me or anything. I'm just saying this is my opinion.
Just trying to help you out. All right, great job. We'll see you next week.
Let's go.